OneShot is a masterpiece. I've never experienced anything like it before. On the surface, OneShot seems like your typical indie game on Steam. A pixelated art style, an interesting atmosphere, and features a catagonist. I came across OneShot during the Steam winter sale. I was on a spree purchasing games that I'll probably never have time to play. I noticed the overwhelmingly positive reviews followed by a sweet discount, and without a second thought, I added it to my cart and finalized my purchases. Little did I know that my naivety would cost me. OneShot begins with Nico waking up in a dark room. Nico says hello, only to be met with silence. At this point, we're free to move around and interact with the environment. When interacting, the game provides you with detailed descriptions and clues to help paint a picture. Upon recovering the remote off the floor and reading the description, it's too hard to read in the dark light. You can bring the remote to the window and use the light to reveal a code. Inputting the code into the terminal will reveal. This is what makes OneShot so special. It utilized the fourth wall to drive its story, characters, and gameplay. The fourth wall is what separates us from the world of fiction, and OneShot blurs the boundary to a distressing level. In most mediums, this narrative device is used to tell a joke.
It's too terrible. It alone would jack up the age rating of this game even further.
So what? Who cares?
But what if the game gets delayed? You don't want this to become No More Heroes Forever, do you?
Oh yeah, I'm bringing sexy back.
Or more directly, deliver a message.
Oh no!
Breaking the fourth wall will always be one of the coolest narrative devices, which makes video games the perfect sandbox to utilize such a potent narrative technique. After being warned that our actions will affect Nico and giving the task of helping Nico leave, the doors will unlock. In the house, the doors to the basement is locked. If you come through the house, you can recover a stick and a bottle of alcohol. By combining the two into a wet stick, you can use the stick on the busted TV to light a fire and use those flames to ignite the fireplace. Doing so will reveal the key to the basement, leading down to a dark, foreboding stairway.
What a thrill.
Infinite ammo.
With darkness and silence through the night.
Once you acquire the light bulb, you can use it to unlock the exit. The first level spills it all. This is the main gameplay loop in OneShot, solving puzzles to progress. I'll summarize the story of OneShot to the best of my abilities. After unlocking the door with the light bulb, you begin your journey in the Barrens. The Barrens is the first location we explore in OneShot. It won't take long to discover how dark and bleak the Barrens are. It's practically void of life. One of the first characters you meet along the journey is ProfitBot. ProfitBot informs us about the world and the dire situation it's been left in since the light at the Tower Evanesced. He also informs Nico about the computer and how to contact us, the player. He refers to Nico as a messiah, the player as God, and the light bulb as the sun. It's clear from the get-go that our duty is to deliver the sun to the top of the tower, or else the world itself will perish. After solving the puzzle to the generator, power will be restored back to the Barrens, and the computer activates once more. In OneShot, the computer is its own entity that breaks the fourth wall to interact with the player. The computer will provide the player with directions or clues to help solve puzzles that are outside the world of OneShot. It can generate text documents on your computer that contains codes. It can alter your desktop's wallpaper to show a pattern. The computer can also minimize your window and recognize when you drag the game off screen to reveal a hidden code. After tapping back from the computer, if you already encountered and fixed a robot, you have to meet with the engineer to help restore robot's navigation system. They'll hand you a charm that contains a piece of glowing amber with a black clover inside. You can use this on Robot to help restore his navigation system and set off your one-way trip to Glen. Upon landing, you can immediately notice how much brighter and lively Glen is compared to the Barrens. After a short exchange with Calamus, you offer to help him look for his lost sister. Despite Glen having organic habitants unlike the Barrens, life here is just barely surviving. If you enter the cave to see Calamit's sister, you'll encounter Maze. She's a plant spirit and the guardian of Glen. She's been slowly dying since the sun vanished. If you talk to her, one of her final lines will be a request to feel the sun one last time. After you rescue Calamit's sister, Alula, you can return to find what's left of Maze. Once you reunite Alula and Calamit, the siblings will invite you to spend time with them at their home. Here, you'll be gifted with a glowing feather, and with that, we can continue our journey through Glen into the Refuge. The Refuge is bright. The light is almost blinding. Like the name suggests, this city is home to those who fled to seek shelter after the sun ran dry. I didn't want to waste any time frolicking around the city. We're here to meet the famous author. They're the only person who could translate the strange journal we found in the vault. You can give the journal to the author to translate, and there's a bed in the room upstairs where you can catch some Z's. In order to save your progress with OneShot, Nico needs to go to sleep. Every time Nico takes a nap, the game will shut down, and relaunching it would cause a dream sequence. In the dreams, we can catch peeks into Nico's world and see the life that they had before they ended up in this situation. When Nico wakes up, we always have conversation about those dreams, and Nico will ask us questions about our lives and the world that we come from. However, in the last dream, we're reminded about the reality of our situation. When Nico wakes up, the author will have a translation ready. This journal is actually a book for us, the player. It provides us with the final piece to the puzzle. Before going our separate ways, the author will give Nico a glowing dice. With everything riding on the line, all we have to do now is enter the tower. Again, this is what makes OneShot so special. At this point, it's all a metagame. By launching this application, you now have a new tool that'll help you navigate. This segment was really cool and I was blown away by its execution. It was one of my favorite puzzle solving methods. I was completely sucked in, I was rushing to solve each puzzle and unlock another layer. I wanted to see what was at the very end. I wanted to reach the light tower. It was again at this point we were reminded about the reality of the situation. We have a decision to make. If you destroy the sun, the world goes dark. Our connection to Nico has been severed. We have no power here. Our mission is complete. At the cost of everyone and everything, Nico gets to go home. They won't remember the world, the program, or us. We'll remember everything. We'll have to carry that weight. If you choose to return the sun, the world will be restored, the light is blinding, and our journey is complete. We managed to restore the sun and save the world at the cost of Nico being trapped there forever. We don't know what happens to Nico, but we can only hope that they'll be fine in this bright new world. OneShot is a really well-made game that completely subverts my expectations. This game was a lot darker than I previously expected. Whether you choose to return the sun or destroy it, there's no happy endings. No right or wrong answers, just a choice. I can now see how OneShot was able to garner such a dedicated fan base. This game is very unique and deserves all the positive reviews and attention that it gets. It would be perfect if it wasn't for the third ending. In the Solstice Ending, Nico confronts the entity that's responsible for the corruption that plagued the world of OneShot. The entity reveals itself to be the World Machine. Since the sun vanished, the machine has been ripping the fabrics of reality. It's gone rogue. With the power of empathy and compassion, Nico tells the World Machine to chillax, brah. This tames the World Machine, and they were able to find the power within to restore the world without the need of the sun, thus ending the game with Nico saying their final goodbyes to everyone and returning back home with the memories they made along the way. The World Machine and the world of OneShot has been saved, and we achieved the happiest ending possible with 0 casualties and no repercussions. There's a lot to love about this game, but I personally did not like the Solstice ending. It's way too happy for my liking, which is why I prefer the original 2014 release. The original version doesn't play too different from the Steam release, also known as Solstice. Besides the obvious visual difference from the design, the principles remain the same. The tone in the 2014 release is a lot darker compared to Solstice. It wasn't really anything to write home about until I got the translated book by the author. I was about to make my way to the tower. The threats, the distortion, the ominous soundtrack creating an unsettling environment. It flipped the calm, innocent nature of the game on its head. The anxiety stalks you and doesn't let chase until you reach the elevator, where once again, we're left with an ultimatum. No alternative happy endings, just a choice. I love this version of OneShot. It's depressing. It even goes as far as giving you the option to kill Nico. It holds no punches, and for that, I hold it in high regards. OneShot has been one of my favorite RPGs, but just to be sure I wasn't missing out on anything, I secured myself a copy on the Switch. The World Machine edition of OneShot is basically Solstice with added flavor. Since we're playing on a console and are restricted by the bounds of the platform, the devs made another genius design decision. The game starts with a booting sequence as if you just got done installing a new operating system. The environment behaves just like a desktop, and it's the perfect workaround for the console experience. Just like the PC version, you can experience the same fourth wall breaks. Within the literal fourth wall desktop, the game just keeps on giving. It's such a aesthetically pleasing and smart workaround. There's also items you can collect in-game to customize your virtual desktop, but other than that, it's basically Solstice with a slight change here and there, nothing too crazy. OneShot is a masterclass example of a game using the fourth wall as a narrative device, gameplay mechanic, and as a workaround for both. The game truly earned its fan base and all the notoriety that comes along, but it's time to say our goodbyes. Thank you for your time. I'll catch you later, and until next time, take care of yourself. Does she have the skibbity gee out Riz?
Kill yourself.